Yeah, all good. All good. Just gone for a nice, peaceful walk this other. Gone for a nice walk right around, and yeah, all good, all good. Just doing a bit of thinking, and I was a little bit reflecting on how, in my time working in football with individuals and teams over the years, I soon began to realise that some players wear a mask, metaphorically speaking, not a real mask, but they wear a mask in the sense that it's almost like a defense mechanism where certain behaviors, for example, where they might pretend to act confident, they might be the loudest in the dressing room, they might sort of play that blames everybody else but themselves type thing, and sort of hiding behind this sort of defense mechanism, so to speak. And I noticed that working with individuals. Now, when I started working with individuals in 97, roughly, I was working with some individual premiership players, sort of conditioning coaching. I was working at Lifeline Health and Fitness in Oxted, Surrey. And the owner, David Richardson, he was the fitness coach of Crystal Palace Football Club at the time. And I would work at the centre, Lifeline Health and Fitness. So I'd not only work with sort of general people looking to get in shape and other stuff, but also work with athletes. And we had like a stable of footballers that would sort of come along and train too. And I was working with players from various teams, from the Premier League and other leagues as well. And I noticed that some players were different, or they were portrayed different in the media to what they were individually, so to speak. And when the mask was off, you had a whole different character. And I learnt that then going on to work with sort of teams. A big learning experience for me. It's almost like the footballer thinks, well, if they see the real me, they might not think I'm good enough. So instead of risking any vulnerability, they protect the ego. And I suppose you can make a case in point that in that environment where from very early on in life you're subject to criticism, you're being judged, it's a tough road in making it as a professional player. From a very early age they're judged, and there's that fear of rejection, criticism, there's comparison, that level of performance, and that sort of environment, I think, in my opinion, I speak anecdotally, I'm not saying I've got all the answers, I'm not giving advice and make suggestions, I'm not saying this is the case for every player, just an observation. And for me, I think, in my opinion, it's very difficult to sort of improve if you're afraid to face certain parts of yourself, so to speak, if you've got this sort of layer and barrier. And I think by reflecting and replacing that self-protection with self-awareness, that's a sort of step forward where the growth begins, where you stop looking at performance for acceptance. So you go out there and you play with a sense of freedom. When you go out there and you play your football with a sense of freedom, I think that's where sort of growth begins. But that's my take on it. You might see it differently, but it's always good to hear other perspectives. That's sort of my take on things.